Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead for not letting my ex-husband bring his new wife to our daughter's birthday party? My ex-husband, David, and I were married for 5 years, and last year we divorced. We have one daughter, Lily, who recently turned 7 this year. Lily's birthday was around the corner, so I was busy with decorations, the cake, and the invitations. I asked her who she wanted to attend at her birthday party, and she said she wanted her aunts, uncles, cousins, basically everyone she knew from both sides. I wasn't bothered with Lily inviting anyone from her father's side because we were both familiar and comfortable with them. I called David and told him about the invitations, and he was cool with it until he brought up his wife. He told me that he will bring his wife. He didn't ask me. He told me like he was forcing it because he knew I would say no, and I did say no. I told him that I was not comfortable with his wife, especially her meeting Lily, and Lily doesn't even know her that much, and I haven't even had a proper talk with her before she can see my daughter. The only thing I knew about this lady was that she did something wrong with my husband, knowing very well he's married and has a daughter, and I was supposed to feel comfortable with that. He then told me that I was making this about me and not Lily, that Lily is a child. She doesn't even know anything yet, and he really wants Lily to meet his wife, and she also wants to meet her. I said to him that if she really wants to meet Lily, then she has to speak to me first and see how she really is before I can trust her with my baby. He replied to me by saying that I was jealous, and that I didn't want Lily to see her new family and be comfortable with them. That I was hurting his wife because I wouldn't let her see her stepdaughter, who is like her own daughter. I was done with him and told him if he didn't want to come, then it's fine. It's not like he paid a single dime for anything for the birthday party, and it was crazy for me to say yes to a woman who ruined my marriage and is the reason why my daughter has to grow up with separated parents. Now for some top comments. Introducing his new wife to Lily at Lily's birthday party is where this is wrong. It is Lily's party and not a time to meet her father's new wife. How many times has Lily met this woman? If Lily did not mention her when you asked about who she wants to be invited, then Lily either doesn't know her or doesn't want her. Not the bonehead. From the post, it sounds like Lily has never met the ex's wife. What the F is that? Who marries someone without ever introducing their child? The ex sounds like a duplicitous bonehead who kept something from his wife first, and now his child. How would that even go? Happy birthday. This is your new stepmom who you've never met. Great way to ruin a child's day. Not the bonehead. You don't have to invite someone to a party that you don't want there. For future reference, don't invite your ex to your daughter's birthday party either. He's a jerk, and you don't have to ever be around him except for exchanges. Obviously, it's best for kids when their parents can get along and co-parent, but this dude does not sound like a team player. No one asks to bring their former mistress and new wife to their ex-wife's house, let alone demands it this soon after cheating and destroying their marriage. There was a post here, not that long ago, about a dude whose wife cheated, wanting to be invited to the kid's birthday party that the dad was hosting, and it was unanimously agreed she was way out of line and she wasn't demanding to bring her side piece. She was just asking to come. Sure, he's married to the mistress now, so she's going to be indefinitely in your daughter's life unless you have sole custody. But that does not mean you ever have to allow her into your home unless you want to. And your daughter's birthday party is not the time or place for him to hard launch his new marriage. That's a gross idea on his part, and he should be ashamed of himself for trying to steal the spotlight from his daughter. Okay, you stated that Lily doesn't know her that much. Then you state she hardly knows her. Then you state the new wife wants to meet her. What is it? Your story isn't adding up. But I will say this. A birthday party isn't the right time to meet a child for the first time. I would hate to have the child humiliated by any negative interaction between any of you. Who knows how his family feels about her? You are right to want to meet her first. This means her father hasn't taken her since he met and ran off with this woman, yet he states Lily is like a daughter to her. Doesn't add up. Last thing. She didn't break up your marriage. He did. I'm sure he told her some wild story and she thought your marriage was already broken or over. You would be amazed at what men can convince a woman of. How long ago was this that he ran off, got divorced, and remarried? Sounds like he did it in a hurry. Am I the bonehead for buying something someone had already claimed? So I, female 22, was at Goodwill the other day looking around. On one of the shelves, I noticed a basket turned upside down. Picked it up to look at it. I was looking for a container to put my jewelry in, and found this really pretty little marble statue underneath. Like one of those ones of a lady with the arms and head cut off. I really liked it, and it was only $5, so I decided to get it. But this lady near me noticed what I was holding and said, "Oh, this other lady was looking at that. I think she hid it under the basket so no one else would see it." I asked if she was gonna buy it. The lady said she wasn't sure. She looked around and said she didn't see the woman anywhere. I felt a little bad, but I carried it around for a while looking at other stuff, and figured if that lady saw me holding it, she could come argue with me if she felt like it. After maybe 10 to 15 more minutes of looking, I was ready to leave and went to the checkout. Right when I set my stuff down, I heard this voice say, "Are you kidding me?" And this older lady came up right next to me and put her hand on the statue. I noticed a man was with her, probably her husband. "I was gonna buy this. I hid it. It's mine," she said. I don't like confrontation, but I was also kinda mad that she was already getting in my face. I said, "I've been carrying this around and you haven't come up to talk to me about it until now. I didn't know you were set on buying it." "Well, didn't you notice it was hidden?" "I was making up my mind and I hid it so no one else would see it, and I decided I'm gonna buy it." "Someone told me a lady was looking at it, but I didn't know you were gonna buy it." "I'm sorry, I'm already getting it," I said. And we both looked at the poor cashier, who kind of shrugged and said, "Yeah, I mean, she's already up here buying it, and you can't really call dibs on something you haven't purchased yet." Then the lady's husband gets involved and says, "Come on, kid, let her have the statue. We're gonna put it on the dining room table. Where are you gonna put it? Your desk?" And I said, "Yep, I am, because I'm buying it." They both just kind of scoffed and looked at each other like I was some young punk who had just disrespected them or something. I give the cashier my card. I sign for it. He hands me my bag. Meanwhile, they're still standing there. I don't think either wanted to do something as blatant as physically take it from me. The lady said, "You want it that bad, even though I already was gonna buy it? I've been looking for a decoration like this for months. Are you gonna die if you don't have it?" And I said, "Yes, I am," and I walked out because I didn't feel like fighting anymore. Meanwhile, they followed me outside, and lucky me, we parked near each other, saying stuff like "no respect" and "unbelievable." And I swear to God, I think the woman even said "what a little witch" before she closed her door. Now for some top comments. Not the bonehead. You don't get to hide things from other customers when you're deciding whether to buy it. The entitled arrogance of the sort of person that thinks they can hide things in a shop to call dibs on them and expect other people to respect that is beyond belief. Not the bonehead. If you want something, carry it around. Hiding it means nothing. If she was looking for something like this for months, why did she need time to make up her mind on a $5 item? Really? More likely, she was looking for a reason to pick a fight. Some people thrive on conflict. Not the bonehead. Enjoy your decoration. Not the bonehead. Proper ways to claim an item while you're still thinking about if you want it. Hold it in your hands, put it in a cart, put it in a basket, take it to the register and say, "I'd like to buy this item, could you hold it here for me?" Hiding merchandise within, under, or behind other merchandise doesn't constitute a valid claim, as someone else coming across it triggers their ability to invoke the age-old rule of finders keepers. Am I the bonehead for refusing to answer my in-laws when they call me Florence? My legal name is Flora, not Florence. My parents chose to use just Flora when I was born, and I always liked my name a lot. But for most of my life I have been Flory to most people. Even at work, my coworkers call me Flory. I will answer to either Flora or Flory. and some people prefer to call me Flora, which I'm totally fine with. But ever since I first met my in-laws 2 years ago, they have been so weird about my name. They started out by asking me 100 times if my name was actually Florence. Then they asked me why my parents chose to give me a nickname, Flora, as a legal name instead of the full name Florence, and call me Flora instead. But what really bothers them is the fact I use Flory and somewhat prefer it over Flora. They told me they cannot understand a professional woman using such a juvenile-sounding name. They said every time they hear the name, they expect a 6-year-old and not a 28-year-old woman. My husband has been wonderful about shutting them down and telling them to stop and calling them out on being disrespectful. We have distanced ourselves from his parents due to this. But now whenever we see them at family functions, they call me Florence. First time I really hoped they were talking to someone else, but no, it was me. My husband told me to ignore them if I wanted, and so I did. My husband's siblings all think their parents are being ridiculous, and all of them call me Flory in an effort to piss their parents off. Some used to call me Flora and Flory, but even Flora doesn't exist to them now. We were all together for a New Year's party, and my husband's parents brought some friends. They and their friends all called me childish, among other things, for refusing to answer to Florence. My husband got so annoyed, he went over to tell them they were being ridiculous, when Florence isn't even my name. They told him Florence could be seen as just another nickname, and I am being unreasonable and rude. I felt very called out, but honestly, the anger and the way they talked about me made me question if I am being a tad unreasonable, and if I shouldn't just let them call me Florence. Am I the bonehead? Now for some top comments. Not the bonehead. By the way, do these people have any names that they find annoying if they are addressed with? 'Cause it seems like they won't change even if you kill them, so better just give them a dose of their own medicine. Pick a nickname for each of them and tell them it sounds really cute, and that is what you're going to call them from now on. Not the bonehead. It's not your name, and their obsession with it is absolutely absurd. I would just not see them at all, ever again. If they can't even do you the slightest level of respect as using your actual name, then they are worthless people. I would get packets about dementia and have an intervention. Tell them, I'm so concerned that you cannot remember a name. Your memories are having issues, and I think you need to seek help. Every time they call you the wrong name, ask in a concerned voice, have you seen a doctor yet? And explain to everyone that they are having memory issues, and everyone should encourage them to seek medical help. Am I the bonehead for having a go at my partner after he told me my one-worded response wasn't good enough? Me, female 28. My partner, male 26. Together 2.5 years, living together 2 years. No kids. So I'm pretty talkative, but like quietness in the morning before work. I was woken up to a knocking on the front door at 7:20 a.m. before my alarm was due to go off at 7:30 a.m. I got back into bed after letting the cleaner in, and my partner cuddled me from behind, asking if I slept okay. Truthfully, I said, no. He rolled over to the other side, and I proceeded to get ready for work. We had some minor interactions throughout, and I kissed him goodbye and wished him a good day. He then said, sorry for whatever I did wrong. Confused, I said, what do you mean? You didn't do anything. He said I was clearly pissed off. I said I wasn't, and asked what he meant. Turns out his perspective is that I shouldn't just say no, and that I need to give context such as why I slept badly. Otherwise, I'm just spreading negativity and starting his day crap. I kinda lost it. I'm not really a morning person and had a short fuse, possibly because of my disturbed sleep. Anyway, we argued when I came home, and he stood by his point that I can't start the day badly, otherwise it ruins everyone's day. So am I the bonehead? I shouldn't lie and say it's fine when it's not, but also I'm expected to give a detailed report when I'm barely awake. I don't want to talk yet, and to be honest, it feels self-serving. If my partner said he didn't sleep well, I'd move closer and ask why. I wouldn't roll away and be annoyed they are spreading negativity. I could be wrong though. Life is pretty great. Maybe I should just appreciate more and be thankful I even have a bed, am able to sleep, and a job to go to, and a cleaner to let in. And my answer should, for those reasons alone, always be, good. Help me out. It's pretty minor, but we were really arguing about this. So perhaps I'm the bonehead. We're all good now, but I want to avoid this in future. Now for some top comments. Not the bonehead. No is a complete sentence. If he needed more clarification, he could have asked a follow-up question or questions. If my beloved is negative first thing in the morning, I ask what is wrong. If they seem dismissive, I ask if I did anything. If the answer is no, I ask if I can do anything to make it better. If the answer is still no, I tell them I love them and hope their day gets better, and to let me know if I can help. Now, if I am in a bad mood myself, I stop after the first question and give them space. I can come back later after I've settled my mood or if they reach out to talk. His response seems he wanted the attention on him and not interested in your independent emotions at that time. He wanted you to make sure his feelings were taken care of even when you were distressed. It's a selfish trait. You are off the hook in my books to make amends for not making him feel better when you were feeling down. Everyone sucks here. Honestly, this is a pretty typical type of disconnect. You were woken up 10 minutes early, and your partner wanted to share intimacy and connection. You were in a crap mood and slept bad, so you were pissy and short and effectively rejected their bid for intimacy. It isn't that surprising that having your bid for connection rejected feels like crap. Bids for connection can be small or big and both verbal and nonverbal. That doesn't mean you have to always be in the mood for connection or intimacy when he is. Every couple has some of these failures. He's upset about it, and the resulting fight was a pretty normal result, though. People don't react to being rejected with increased positive responses. What is true is that the number of rejected bids for attention, time, intimacy, affection, etc. received is a direct indicator of your likelihood to stay together. You aren't in trouble for a single rejection, but if that is the standard of how you relate to each other, it isn't that surprising that such couples fail. You're the bonehead. You're both right, and you're both wrong. He's right that it is hard to tell if a one-word answer can make it feel like you're unhappy with him. You're right that launching into conversation when you'd rather be asleep is hard. He was mistaken to assume that a clear but curt answer means you were unhappy with him, but it is clear you were unhappy. You are mistaken in thinking that a one-word negative didn't require more exposition, especially if you are unhappy but not with him. You came back to bed in a huff because you hadn't wanted to be awake yet. You could have crawled back into bed, snuggled up to your partner, and good-naturedly grumbled to him. That would likely have led to a satisfactory conversation and a positive start to the day. He tried to achieve the same by snuggling up to you and trying to start a loving conversation. When you gave a one-word answer and didn't follow up the question with some engagement of your own, you shut the conversation down. Which makes sense. You were grumpy, but you didn't do anything to dispel that grumpiness, and he's right to call you out for letting that ruin both your mornings. In any relationship, choices and responses can be divided into ones that bring you closer together and ones that drive you further apart. You went back to bed grumpy, drives apart. Your partner snuggled up to you and tried to engage, attempt to bring closer. You grumbled, drives apart. Your partner disengaged and got ready for the day. As did you, probably still grumpy, drives apart. Your partner apologized for whatever they did, attempt to bring closer. You got angry with them, drives apart. Later that evening, you make it into a fight, drives apart. Your partner says he would prefer you to not make the start of the day negative because it negatively impacts both of you, which it did, attempt to bring closer. Living in a partnership with someone requires us to be mindful of how we respond to events in our lives. You could have helped make the day better for both of you, but instead you let your discontent that you missed out on 10 to 15 minutes of sleep become a problem. You repeatedly made choices that put stress on your relationship and ignored attempts by your partner to reduce that stress. You need to try harder to stay in connection with your partner. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next Reddit story.